All right, Jesse, welcome to the Extreme Agents coaching call for today. Today we're going to be, how are you doing today, man?
I'm great, man. Happy Wednesday.
Excellent. Happy Wednesday to you too. So today we're going to talk about what to do when you get to the listing appointment. Basically, what do you do from the time you drive up to the listing appointment, and then when you sit down and actually talk to the prospect about listing their house. So there's a process, just like everything else. We like to follow a process, and we have some scripts that you can follow. So we're going to focus. We've talked a little bit about how important it is to obviously arrive early to the appointment. And in our book, Extreme Agents Blueprint, which you can get a hard copy of now on Amazon, right, Jesse?
That's right, $11.99.
Or soft, whatever it is, paperback, right here. So in the book, we talk about how it's very important to get there 15 minutes early to be mentally, physically prepared for the appointment. You want to park not in the driveway, but out front. That's just something that was suggested to me. You don't want to park in the driveway and then have to move your car or whatever. It's just respectful. When you get to the door, you want to knock on the door or ring the doorbell, and you want to step back a little bit. You don't want to stand right in their face. Just common sense stuff, but you know what? Hey, we're real estate agents. Not all of us have common sense. So I just want to go over all the steps. So when you get up to the door, you ring the doorbell, you back up just a step from the door, let them open it up, especially with COVID now, you got to have a mask and all that crap. But, once you greet them, you want to be enthusiastic, positive. You want to follow a script and say, hey Jesse, how nice to meet you. I appreciate you having me over today and giving me the opportunity to list and sell your home. Great. How you doing? Blah, blah, blah. So, okay. All right, hold on a second. I don't know why it's popping up as somebody else on the screen here. Why did it do that? Speaker view. Okay, there we go. All right, so once you get to the house and you go through those steps, and we know what you say when you get in there. What do you say when you greet them inside and they ask you if you want to be shown around the house, Jesse?
You don't want to go on a whole tour of the house. You want to tell them, hey.
What's the script?
Oh, what's the script? I don't.
Okay, the script is when they ask you, they're usually going to say, hey, you want me to show you around the house? You know what, Jesse, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. But what I'd like to do is walk through the house and look at it through the eyes of a buyer. Just how somebody would do if they are viewing the house with their agent. Is that okay? Yeah, that's fine. Okay, great. Here's some information. Then you hand them a packet of information and ask them, just say, hey, great, here's some information for you to look at. I'll meet you at the kitchen table when I'm done. It'll just take a minute. Sounds great. Okay. So what do you hand them? You hand them, if you have a packet of information about yourself and your services, that's what we suggest handing them. So we've already talked about a pre-listing packet. That would be an ideal thing. Yes, they may already have it if you sent it out like you're supposed to, but you can hand it to them again and just say, hey, I'm not sure if you had a chance to look at the pre-listing packet I sent out, but here it is again. If you have a minute, could you take a look at it while I tour the house, and I'll be right over there at the kitchen table in just a minute. Great. Okay, so then you look at the house, and then you go down, and then you go to the kitchen table and you sit down to have a conversation, which is in essence the listing appointment meeting at that point. So Jesse, we're going to talk a little bit today about, well, that's all fine and great, Steve, but what am I supposed to give them or show them or talk to them about? Well, that's what we're going to have this call about, a specific process on going to a listing appointment, what to say, what to take with you. So this is what was suggested to us is something very simple. And Jesse, we're going to talk about the different things that are included in the listing presentation packet. So why don't you start off, put that up on the screen, and you can start off talking about what that is, and then we'll talk about how to present it.
Okay, let me click. Where is the share button? Okay, so I'm going to go over a couple different just concepts of this. So this is basically like a credibility packet here that,
Let me say one thing real
yeah,
quick, Jesse, about this.
yeah,
You do not have to have something fancy, okay? You don't have to have something professionally printed. I have I've taken just as many listings, per year with a simple printed out version of this
mhm,
as I have with a $4,000 designed fancy schmancy one that you see on the right. So I can tell you it makes zero difference in whether or not you're going to get the listing 99% of the time. So keep it simple. Jesse has he's got a template that he's going to share with you where you can plug your information in and use it for your own, for your own presentation. So go ahead, Jesse.
yeah. And I'm gonna give you guys a template. You can just plop in your information, and it very, very simple. Not to over. We don't want to be overthinking this. In fact, I can show you what my pre-listing package was when I started. See if that will open up. Yeah. So it's the point of this is to create. Yeah, this is when I first started. Man, I just came onto Word, Microsoft Word, and made all of this. Okay. Who are we? How many homes you've sold? These are things that are credibility, right? It's things that build trust because they show, hey, you get results, and you can use your team. You can use your brokerage. You don't have to use like, hey, I've been in real estate for 20 years. That's not necessarily what's going to convince them. It's a track record and results, and can be Steve's, mine, again, EXPs.
But that does hold credibility. If you've had your license for 20 years and
Yeah,
that's part of your story, that's fine. You just want to, what we're saying is if you haven't sold a lot of homes, a lot of people are new in the business, you don't have to dwell on that. You can
right.
use EXP's sales for the year.
Mhm.
Our company has sold, 500 homes in the area in the last 6 months. That's all you got to say.
Yeah. And some of the things is just really educating them. You're indoctrinating them. You're educating somebody on what are buyers looking for, and the fact that you will help them connect buyers with their property. Buyers are finding properties by going on the internet. Well, guess what? We're going to help you with that. They're going to find properties by looking with other agents. I'm a good person to trust because I'm connected to other agents. We have 32,000 agents in our brokerage and blah 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 blah, right? So you're helping answer some of the objections that might come up in their mind before you actually meet with them, right? All the marketing that we do, the skills that we have, and really this is just training skills of being a good salesperson. That is good because they want someone that knows how to sell. All right. Frequently asked questions. You can put frequently asked questions. How long does a listing agreement? All of these are things to when you they answer objections. You do not want to be spending your whole time answering objections. You'd rather when you send this ahead of time or you're at the listing presentation, they've already kind of looked through it. All right. The team, some testimonials. Again, just pull them from Yelp. Here's Steve's. This is from I think a year or two back. Results, right? Talk about the results. What's the process of listing and selling? Highlight communication. In fact, my coach, when I first started, he said highlight communication because most agents fail at communication, right? So having communication is one of the things that separates you from everybody else. If you've sold 5 homes or 100 homes, communication separates you because most agents do not communicate well. They don't answer their phone. They don't call back. Um, okay, time educating them on the time and the process. A lot of times, people just want to know what's the process of selling a home and how come it's been 3 weeks and we're not getting as many calls. Well, if you educate them through your listing packet and kind of point this out, this helps eliminate that frustrating conversation later because you've already addressed it.
So
Right.
guys, this is basically a listing packet that can be used for the pre-listing packet to send out. It's a credibility packet is what we call it.
Mhm.
It's going to answer some basic questions that they're going to have. It's going to show them, you know, what you're going to do to sell their house. And Jesse's going to send you a template for that.
Yeah.
So that's something you can send out pre-appointment, and then it's something that you can take with you to hand them at the appointment while you're looking at the house. You don't want to sit down with them to have the actual presentation and then start going through that, or having them just start to look at it, because it'll distract them and you from signing the contract and taking the listing.
Right. So it's pre-selling, right? It's pre-framing. It's getting them ready. So I'm going to show you guys I'm going to put one together for you guys, and then you can plop in your own photos and edit this super fast. You could literally have a listing packet ready to go after I give you this template in probably 20, 30 minutes.
And if you guys want help with that, Jesse, why don't we set up a separate call for you to do that? You guys need to email Jesse and let him know that you would like to go over how to do that. He's going to send you the template. If you have any trouble, though, connect with Jesse on that. So this is the template, right?
Yeah, I started doing this like 20 minutes ago, because I'm like, you know what, it'd be cool just not just to show you guys, but actually give you something you could duplicate. A lot of companies, you know, EXP in the marketing center, they have listing packet PowerPoints and stuff like that. But if you want something that similar to what Steve and I have used, yeah, you can have this. And again, you just modify it. And it'll take you 30 minutes. I promise you, as long as you got some testimonials you can grab from Facebook or Instagram or Yelp or Google or Zillow, plop those in here. You don't even need someone's photo, just a representation of, hey, this is what, you know, put their name right below this. I'm going to show you how to use this Canva, which is a free tool, and make your entire listing packet. Okay. Why work with me? What are some of your credentials? What are the results you've had? Something very simple, clean, professional, that you just share with people. You can email it to them. I've found that emailing people a lot is a great way, because I can track that they've opened my email. Okay. So this is the kind of stuff that helps you kind of pre-sell people, right? Again, pre-framing is very critical. Getting them in a mindset to choose you before you even show up is a lot of times what makes a listing appointment easy and fun, right? It's like they've already looked at all of my credentials. Maybe it's company information, right? We could put in all of EXP stats, right?
So here are the key things that I take with me on a listing appointment. And how do I know this works? I mean, I've listed over 500 homes in my career, and I follow the same process every time. It was taught to me that I'm supposed to have a couple of key things with me, and everything that was explained to me and taught to me is in this pre-listing packet, except for the actual script when you sit down and talk to the client. So you're going to give this information to them as a pre-listing packet, and then at the door or when you first walk in, so you can go look at the house. And some of this might sound cheesy or uncomfortable, but I can assure you that every one of these appointments is going to be a little bit different. And the more structured you are, and the more that you as the agent take control of the situation, the better the entire process is going to go. It's going to go quicker, smoother. They're going to feel like you're in control, and that's what they want. They have you over to list and sell their house. If they didn't feel like you were professional, didn't have confidence that that's what you were there to do, you wouldn't be there. They'd be doing it themselves. So you want to have confidence. You give them that information, you sit down at the table, and you have a script, okay? So the key things that you want to have in your packet, you want to have the stuff that we're showing you here in the packet, which is the list of references, the plan of action, the CMA, and the comps is what you want to take with you. So what you're going to have in your packet, that packet you're going to give them, but you're going to have with you is a script. You're going to have the CMA or the comps with you, and the listing agreement and the disclosures. And I always highlight everything in the listing agreement and disclosures ahead of time and have it filled out and ready. So you sit down with them, you say, thanks for having me over. We have a script that we're going to put in the website, and you go through the script question by question. It's question based. Mm-hmm. So in essence, you're going to ask them where, where they're moving to, what, why, who, when, where, why are you selling? How soon do you have to move? What price do you feel, you want to sell the house at? All the questions are in there, and they're on that script for a reason, in order. So what I like to do is go through the first part of the script is called the 1 minute presentation. I love when you go through the 1 minute presentation and then they sign the contract. That does happen probably 1 out of every 4 appointments. So that is basically three questions. I wrote down 3 really important questions for you. 1, do you absolutely have to sell your home? Well, I mean, we don't absolutely have to sell it. We definitely want to sell it, but we don't want to give it away. Perfect. The great news is I've never given a house away, and I've sold quite a few, so that we can get that done for you. Right. Number 2, will you price your home to sell, or do you want to keep it on the market for a long period of time? Now, who's going to say we want to keep it on the market for a long period of time? Nobody's going to really say that, but they are going to say, well, we don't want to price it too low. We want to make sure we leave room for negotiating. Great. The good news is that I study prices. I study the market and home prices every day. So I'm assuming you're going to want to list your home at a price that's going to cause it to sell. So number 3, the question is, do you want me to handle the sale for you? Well, I'm not sure. I guess so. Great. So all we have to do now is simply sign the contract. And then you get them to sign the contract. If they say yes, don't start going into the rest of the presentation and showing them comps and everything else. If they want to see that, they will then ask you, well, I'd like to go over the comps. Perfect. So why don't we go ahead and go over the comps and the information. Then you just go through the rest of the script. So you sit down with them, you first ask those 3 questions. If they sign the contract, you're good to go. And you don't have to really do anything else except get the paperwork signed and get the, ask a few questions that we have. We have some features and benefit sheets and some other information that you want to get filled out before you leave the house. So you're all prepared for the sign, for the lockbox, for showing instructions and all that kind of stuff. But if they want to go through the script and you want to start going through the comps, you want to take as few comps as possible. All sold comps are what you're going to discuss. And you want to try to get comps that are a little bit lower than where you feel, you probably need to price their house. Okay. You don't want to get comps that have sold for $20,000 over where you really feel like it needs to be priced. That's common sense. Right. So you want to get them to list the house at the lowest price possible, because that's always going to reap the best results. It just always does. It's nearly impossible. It's impossible to set the price of a house too low. If the price is lower than what the buyers are willing to pay, you're going to have a bidding war, and it's going to get bid up to that price. That's just how it works. So you go over the comps, and you want to point out certain things on the comps. You want to ask them all question based. Okay, is this home, are you familiar with this house? This is in your neighborhood. Are you familiar with this house? Well, no, but yeah, that's in our neighborhood. Great. And as you can see, the price on the house is, it's sold for XYZ. It has, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. It's got a finished basement, a 2-car garage, whatever. You just want to point out the basics of the house so they can see how it compares to theirs. And it'd be good if you could show them a couple of pictures of the house as well, so they can see the condition if that's necessary, if it's updated or not. So you want to go through 3 comps, and those 3 comps should write a story or present a story that gives you a price that you're going to list the house at. Okay, so if all those comps show that the houses have sold for $200,000, even, that's what you want them to list the house for. All right. So you want to create a story that's going to, you know, get them to get to the result of the price that you want them to put on the house. All right. So there's usually going to be a couple of questions that they ask, and everything is handled in the script. All right. So if you go through the script, I don't mind if you cross off. There's probably, you know, 50 questions in the script that we have. If you take out a few of the questions, that's fine, but you want to make sure you have the main points in there.
Right.
You know, they're going to ask about comps, they're going to ask about, and that's going to explain the price. They're going to ask about commission, you know, and there's certain questions in there that you can ask to overcome that and to, you know, present the right commission that you want them to pay. And they're also going to potentially ask, you know, what are you going to do to sell the house? And that's going to be addressed in the pre-listing packet. There's going to be a plan of action in there. And if they really want to go over that, you can have a copy of the pre-listing packet with you. You're going to have one with you, and they're going to have one, and just go through it with them. You know, there's like 20 steps. Here's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to put your house on the MLS. We're going to promote your house to all the other realtors in the area that are working with buyers. We're going to put your house on every one of the internet sites that you see homes being sold on. You know, we're going to aggressively do this. We're going to do that. You got to have all that stuff already laid out in a plan, because they're going to ask you that. All right, so we've covered kind of, you know, a lot of the stuff is. This is not something that you know, if you've never done this before, you're just going to be able to go out and, you know, half hour before the listing appointment, put this together and it's going to work. You're going to have to print this stuff out. You're going to have to look at it. You're going to have to rehearse and role play, if not with me or Jesse, with somebody else, or by yourself a couple of times, or somebody at your house, and just act like, you know, you're at a listing appointment. So, you know, preparation is key to this. You want to make sure that you're well prepared, because it's going to show when you get to the appointment. And don't be nervous. You know, every one of these, I can tell you, I've been in, I don't know, 500 plus listing appointments. Every one is a little bit different, but that's why you want to have a process and procedures, and all of you, you know, everything has to be uniform, so you don't get lost and you know exactly what you're doing. And you come across as professional. And just always keep in mind, if you get stuck on something, you know, just say, hey, you know what, I'll address that. I have to find out an answer for you on that question, and I'll get an answer for you here right after we wrap up. Or you just go on to the next question in the script. Okay, you acknowledge it and say, well, you know, what are you going to do if this or that happens? You know, that's something that we'll address when the time comes. Or I'll get an answer for you on that, because that really doesn't come up very often. But, you know, other than that, you know, what type of house are you guys going to be looking for when you do move, or whatever the next question on the script is? You just keep going through the script. So Jesse, you got anything to add for that before we take questions?
I would say that trying to get them to that follow-up call before you go to the appointment to make sure they've reviewed this. When you confirm your appointment, calling and ask them, hey, did you get a chance to review the listing packet, the thing that I emailed you or sent over in the mail or dropped off, whatever. Finding out what if they reviewed that and gathering those objections before you show up is going to make like night and day difference, because you're going to go there prepared with confidence, knowing, hey, they're already worried about the commission, or they're already worried about those things. So use these tools and use the entire process of the presentation to make your job easier when you get there and actually meet them. You don't want to like be going an uphill battle fighting to win this presentation and take the listing. When you get there, you want to have already settled some of that in advance. And it's such a different conversation.
Yeah, and that's why we have the process. You know, you have the pre-listing packet, but you also have the qualification script to pre-qualify to see if you're even going to go on the listing appointment. And that's where those objections are going to come up, and you'll be prepared for. You're going to pretty much know what they're going to say. If you use that script and you do the pre-qual, you're going to know exactly usually 90% of the time what they're going to say when you get there or what the objections are already. So you can handle those up front. All right, so does anybody have any questions? We've already gone like 30 minutes almost. So is there any questions about this or comments or anything you guys like to ask us about?
Who's itching to ask a question?
Yeah, do you guys use it every time or just sometimes?
Use what?
See, the
packet?
pre-listing presentation.
Yes,
Yeah.
every time. You know, here's the thing. It's suggested that you use it every single time. Honestly, have I used everything every single time? No, but I can tell you that every time that I don't, I'm taking a chance. And there's been times when I haven't, when I did not get the listing because of that. So my suggestion is yes, use it every single time. It makes your life a lot easier if you already know the process for every single one of your appointments. It's already ready to go.
Okay, and where do you guys print them? Do you guys print them at home or at Office Depot?
Yeah, you print them on just a regular printer.
Yeah. If you're going on like a high-end listing appointment, I would recommend paying for like the premium paper and just, polish yourself, polish your
Any
delivery.
home printer, you can get that good paper and it's going to print out a nice one. You can go to Kinko's and print these out if you want. But like I was saying, I had just as much luck with papers that I printed in color off of a regular printer. I listed several hundred homes with that. It's, the only difference is, honest to God, the only difference is, wow, this is a nice packet, is what they'll say when I have the nicely printed one. And that's it though. I mean, I've had them say that's a nice packet and not gotten the listing 100 times too. Okay. So you just want to have the basics. I mean, the guy that we were coached by listed 190 homes a year and his was as hillbilly looking as they come. It was like, it was just generic.
Yep.
So really what they're buying and what they're looking for is somebody that has confidence. They're not looking for a fancy listing packet.
Cool, thank you.
Yep. And EXP has their own version on the in the marketing materials as well that you can put your information in. But Jesse's taking the time to make this nice one for you, so I would use it. And if you don't have any references, you can steal mine off Zillow for all I care.
Now, does anybody not have a packet at all right now? Everybody has a packet of some sorts you're trying to use, or you put together, or maybe even partially put together?
Yeah, I put together the EXP one, but I honestly haven't used it yet.
Okay.
What do you do when you go on a listing appointment, Rick? Just take.
I don't have one set. I just got the one. Yeah, no, actually, I did it through DocuSign, so I didn't even take that.
Yeah, a lot of times we do stuff through DocuSign now, which is ideal, but you got to keep in mind too, I go on a lot of listing appointments with expired, canceled, and for sale by owners. So 90% of the time they're interviewing other agents. So, it's important to have all this information with you and be professional as you can. If you're listing your parents' house, your brother's house or something, that's different. You don't, you can just go out there and take the listing agreement and be more casual about it. But anybody else, you want to make sure that you follow a process.
Another thing, guys, is you can pull one page out of this, right? Like somebody that you just want to follow up. It's like, I don't know what to send them. I don't know what to tell them. Pull one thing out of here, just one page, and send them just that one thing. Like, hey, I know we've never met before, and you're kind of wondering whether you should work with this person or that person. How would you like if I gave you some references that show that I'm a credible person to work with? Is that something that would help you in your decision? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to shoot you an email with my list of references. And that one piece, that one page can be a point of the conversation and follow up. And it might be the one thing that converts them. You could say, Harry, why should you work with me? I'm going to give you 3 reasons. Hey, here's my marketing plan of action. Would you like to know that you're working with someone that has a proven track record and a proven plan to get homes sold? Yeah. Okay. Well, can I share with you my plan of action? I'll actually email it to you ahead of time before we get together. There you go. So just pull one piece out of this and send it to somebody and use that as a follow-up piece. So if you don't have
Any
a
other
listing
questions,
appointment,
guys? Any other questions or comments? All right. If anybody needs something off outside the call, just touch base and we'll be willing to help.
okay.
Thanks for showing up.
You know what I'll do? I'll record like a little 15-20 minute video how to edit this and customize it
Okay.
so it blows people away, and I'll include that with the link to a link to edit and a link to watch how to edit it.
Nice. Awesome.
Cool.
Send that to me too. I'd actually like to see that because yours is looking pretty cool.
Bam.
I might redo mine. All right, man. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys.
Appreciate you being here.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
She has a question. Yeah.
I'm sorry, what, Chanel?
Chanel has a question.
Are you, Jesse, are you going to email this stuff to us?
Yeah. So I'm going to email you a link.
Or do I have to go to your link somewhere?
So I'm going to give you a link right here. It says share as a template. I'm going to give you guys all the same template, and then you can come in here and
In an email. He's going to send out an email with those links.
yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right.